Hey there, YouTubers. This is LB from Geek Kings, and today I'm going to be talking about the HP Stream 7. There's been quite a bit of buzz around this particular device this holiday season, so I wanted to kind of give my thoughts and my review about this device, pros and cons, if you should buy it, and so forth. I got this device actually for my wife as another kind of couch device so she would stop seeing my tablet. But what I'll do is we'll do a little walkthrough of the device, give you some specs, and then the reason why you're watching this video is to get my impressions and thoughts and whether you should buy it or not. So here we go. So this device, HP Stream 7, is actually a 7-inch IPS display, 800 by 1280, with 5-finger multi-touch support, full Windows 8.1 Pro. Okay, this is not WinRT. This is actually the full Windows 8.1 operating system. It's running an Intel Atom quad-core 1.33 gigahertz. And it's only got 1 gig of DDR3 RAM inside of it, but testing over the past few days I've shown that it's quite capable at web browsing, watching YouTube, playing some kind of low-intensity games. Certainly you could run something like Skyrim on here on super low settings. Probably wouldn't recommend it, but maybe something like Minecraft would work. It's got 32 gigs of eMMC storage internally, expandable through a 64 gigabyte SD card. I believe that's the maximum that you can install. Behind here, this backplate comes off, and you can put an SD card right in there. Other than that, it's got up here your headphone jack, your micro USB port, and this can be used for charging or for throwing an OTG or on the go USB cable, and you can do things like video out and plug in different accessories and so forth. On the back here, pretty simple. You've got your 2 megapixel back-facing camera, and on the front you have a whole 0.3 megapixel camera on the front. But then again, this tablet is 7 inches, and oh, by the way, retails for $99, but we'll get to that. So I think it's acceptable for that size and price level. Bluetooth and so forth. But really the compelling thing around this is sort of the extras or the benefits you get with it. So I'll go through that briefly. This was on sale this holiday season for $99. Okay. Remember, this is in fact a full Windows 8.1 PC. It also came with a year of Office 365 Personal, which is a one-user account subscription that gives you Office on 5 devices and 5 tablets. It also gives you 1 terabyte of OneDrive space, which I hear Microsoft is actually expanding to unlimited space in the near future, and 60 minutes of Skype calling per month to a landline or a cell phone. That's a $70 value right there. So that's fairly compelling. I think most folks will like the fact that they can get Office even on a small device like this. It's nice for editing on the go. And of course, the OneDrive space, which is a major plus given the limited onboard storage capacity. So my impressions from a user perspective, the screen is actually very capable. It does not have auto brightness, which is something that you'll manually manage. That has an impact on battery life, but then again, $99. It's very simple to manage the brightness on here. Resolution, not too bad. Some of the text, if you've got an older person using this, might be a little small. So that's definitely something to consider on any 7-inch tablet. This is pretty much my first interactions with a 7-inch tablet, so I thought the text was a bit small, but still readable for my eyes, but you know, your mileage may vary. Pretty responsive touchscreen, no problems there, very nice in fact. And the feel in the hand is nice. I can hold it with one palm. The back here has sort of a soft touch plastic, which is quite nice to hold, grippy, not going to slide out of your hand. And as far as weight, it is a bit thick, I'll say that. But it's not cheap feeling, so that's nice. You might get tired holding it like this for a while, but how many people really hold it like that? They're going to be holding it down or like that, or in fact using a case, which I have right here. This is your cover case, sort of like an iPad smart cover. I picked this up for $15. You can fold this back and kind of do one of these with it. That'll alleviate some of the weight issue with holding it for long periods of time. I recommend getting a case even at $99, just kind of for the stand capabilities. So pick that up. And this is also an even nicer touch, sort of a rubberized feeling to it. So definitely get that. I have that off for the review. But I'll talk a little bit about why you might want to buy this. Is a 7-inch tablet worth it, right? We live in a world where phones are getting bigger, tablets are getting smaller, so the lines are kind of blurring a bit. I would say that, yes, it's worth it, but it depends, like everything, right? For the right price, I think anything is justifiable, right? And at $99 for something like this, a full Windows 8.1 PC, you can install legacy desktop applications. Not that you might want to, but it's capable of doing that. I think that's justifiable for someone like me, or someone like you, who might be very into technology, and also maybe wants to try the Windows ecosystem. Maybe you've been with Android or iOS for quite a while, and you want to come back and see what Microsoft is doing with Windows 8.1. And oh, by the way, Windows 10. This will be fully upgradable to Windows 10 when it comes out. So I think for that price and the benefits, you've got Office 365 included. You can try that out. That's a $70 value right there. I think that's one reason to say the 7-inch tablet is worth it. The other reason is if you've got a laptop or a desktop, but no tablet yet. Let's say you haven't jumped in and you don't have a full-size iPad or Surface or Android tablet, and you've just got a phone. Maybe you want something that's not your phone and not your laptop, something that's more portable, something to sit on the couch with, something to take to, when you're visiting family. You can pull it out of your pocket, something when you're on the bus or the train or the subway. This is a really good little guy. This can fit in a woman's purse. This could fit easily in a messenger bag. This could even fit in your pocket. So very portable, $99 yet again. I'm going to keep mentioning that. So that's another reason to own this. So I think the 7-inch tablet does have a space in this world where we're increasingly getting bigger phones. Computers getting smaller, and there's convergence all around. You might want to try this little guy out. Some other use cases that I'll be using it for, or maybe folks out there are thinking of using this for, or thinking of a purpose for this guy. Like I said, if you don't own a tablet yet and you want a low cost of entry, this is your best bet. Now, folks, you may remember the bad old days with netbooks. Right, pieces of junk, crappy screens, very low memory, very crappy processors, very bad battery life, in fact, and I'll get to that here on this one. This one has fairly decent battery life, but netbooks were really maybe a generation or two too early. This is not a netbook. In fact, this is a very capable device. So I would say that if you want to own a tablet, maybe you're in the market, maybe you were going to get a cheap laptop, maybe get this instead, $99. You can hook up a Bluetooth keyboard, Bluetooth mouse, and you have a full PC right here, and you can even plug this into a screen with the OTG cable. So, another reason is, let's say you have a tablet, a nice tablet for yourself, a flagship tablet or something like that, and you kind of just want an affordable tablet to be able to give to a child or to a spouse who keeps stealing your device. This is a great one to get. Very capable, very small, very affordable. I would have no problems giving this to a child to load their games on. You can lock it down with some parental controls, or give it to a spouse, and that's in fact what I did with my wife. So now we both have our tablets, and we're not competing for them. The other reason is maybe you're in business. Either you're self-employed or you work for a company where you're a mobile worker. You're going to different customer sites or client sites, and maybe you just want a secondary device to do something like Miracast on. In fact, this has Miracast built in. You can run a presentation on this. Let's say you have a PowerPoint, and at the customer site they have a television or set-top box capable of Miracast. You can in fact display right from here wirelessly. And it also comes with Office, so you can access things like your OneDrive for Business, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, so forth, Outlook, kind of all mobily here, inexpensively, be connected to the office or have a companion device for your corporate issued laptop. What do you need to know before you buy this, if you want to buy this, right? Some considerations. There are some drawbacks to a tablet of this size and price range, so I want you to be aware of that and see if you can live with certain considerations. One of those is that it's got a single USB port, which means that it can either be charging or doing something else, like using an accessory, HDMI cable, for instance. You can't do both at the same time. There are ways to expand this, which I think are pretty advanced, so there are videos on YouTube that show you how to do that, but out of the box, only one port, unlike a Surface that's got a full-size USB port and charging. You can only do one thing at a time. Another reason, another consideration is it could be lighter. I believe it's 3/4 of a pound. So when we talk about lighter, it's still extremely light, but it's fairly dense, fairly chunky. So that's something that you should really go check out and feel it, see, if it's something that you would like to use on a daily basis. I don't really mind it, but I did want to call it out and say it's not the lightest tablet ever. The other one is limited gaming potential. I think if you're going to download a game from the Windows Store, that should run fine. But if you're going to be running full kind of AAA gaming titles on here, something on Steam, going to be limited. So don't think that you're going to get a cheap gaming device. I think most gamers know that if you want a game, you have to invest your money properly. But for those out there that have children that maybe want to be able to game on a PC, this is not the device for you. Okay. The other thing is, I know some folks care about this more than others, but I figured I'd call it out. There is no 4G LTE or any kind of cell connection option for this whatsoever. It's Wi-Fi only. In fact, it does Wi-Fi B, G, and N, but it doesn't have an option to put onto a mobile carrier. So if that's something that's important to you, if you're on the road and you don't have a Wi-Fi hotspot or internet sharing on your phone, this will not be a device you're able to get connectivity to unless you're within range of Wi-Fi. Finally, like I mentioned, it doesn't have auto brightness or proximity sensor. Okay, these will put more strain on your battery life, so there's more attention to managing that. So that's definitely a consideration. There are other tablets out there that are more expensive that have brightness sensors and proximity sensors. But honestly, I kind of keep this on a medium to low brightness. It's fine for most, kind of light settings. So that is something to consider. Yet again, $99. Now the battery on here is decent. It's a 3,000 milliamp battery. I still need to do some more testing, but I am finding, on average, I get 6 to 8 hours of general web browsing, app usage, and so forth. Now, if you're watching, a full HD movie, that might drain faster. If you're playing an intense game, that will drain faster, but that's no different than any other device. I see this lasting a half a day or more, kind of without reaching for the charger. So think about your use cases. If you're only going to be using this at home, when you come home from work, I think this will be just fine for your needs. So I'll give you some of my impressions of why I like it and why I'm rating this as a buy. Okay. One is, this is a full Windows 8.1 device. I know I mentioned that before. But if you've been into tech and PCs and computers as long as I have, and you look at how far we've come, and I can spend $99 and actually get a fairly functional PC that runs Windows, that has backwards compatibility to 25 plus years of applications, that's pretty incredible. There are no compromises with this device. Okay, it's got a full internet browser. Okay, you can install Google Chrome on here. You can install Mozilla Firefox. You can use the perfectly fine Internet Explorer 11 that's installed on here. So when you're using a phone or a tablet that, or a traditional tablet that has kind of a mobilized browser that's not really compatible with all websites out there, you should be able to do 99% of the things you do on a desktop browser on here. Now, that's not going to help you when a website has hover menus and crap like that, but it's kludgy, but it's doable. More so than an iPad browser or an Android browser. It runs very well for the specs. I haven't really noticed any slowdowns. It might take an extra second or two to load an application, but once you're in the application, things run very smoothly, even with a gig of memory. That's the thing I was most concerned about with this, but I have to say it does fairly well with managing the memory that it has. Apps are coming. That's also sort of a pro and a con. Windows 8 apps, the App Store it's really not there in terms of having the depth and breadth of apps on Android and iOS, but it's got the basics. It's got Twitter, it's got Facebook, it's got all kinds of, it's even got some pretty decent YouTube apps, not directly from Google, but they do the job. I recommend Hyper. That's an app problem that Microsoft is trying to solve right now with Windows 10. That's a whole nother video. But then again, you have to remember that the browser is quite capable, and if there's not an app, you can go to the website. Not a big deal there. And plus, you can install any kind of desktop applications that you were used to back in the day, including iTunes. It comes with a year of Office 365. That's another reason I really like this. Think about that. This was $99. That's a $70 value. So really, this is worth about $170 when you include Office 365 in there. Unlimited OneDrive space, once again, very important when you have limited onboard storage. And then finally, you have to remember, this is 75% cheaper than an iPad mini Retina. Okay? There's just a few caveats to it, which we discussed, and in fact, it has more storage. I'm comparing it, of course, to the 16 gig Wi-Fi only model of iPad mini Retina. This is a 32 gig Wi-Fi only HP Stream 7. This is $100, where that is $400. Very few compromises. So think about that. You can buy 4 of these for the price of one iPad. And I think that's incredible given the power and capability of this little guy. So, once again, I'm recommending this as a buy this holiday season. I'm sure you'll be able to find some deals after the first of the year. Definitely an interesting little device, and I'm looking forward to using it and kind of pushing it to its limits. And as I find some interesting things I can do with it, I'll be posting to show everybody out there. So, thanks for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did, hit that like button. I really hope you subscribe to Geek Kings. You'll see videos like this, reviews. You'll see chats between me and my brother. and all kinds of geeky stuff that we hope you're interested in. Send us your comments, send us your questions. We'll be doing AMAs, and send us what you'd like to see on the channel, because this is our passion. We want to share it with you guys in the community. So again, my name is LB for Geek Kings, and thanks for watching.